Have you ever heard of the 72-hour rule? In the world of missing persons, the first 72 hours are absolutely critical. They can mean the difference between a joyful reunion and a heartbreaking tragedy. This isn't just a theory, it's a grim reality that I, as a private investigator, have to face every single day. Today, I'm taking you inside a case that pushed that rule to its absolute limit. A case that started with a frantic phone call and ended in a place darker than I could have imagined. The call came from the parents of Sarah Jenkins, a bright, ambitious sophomore at a local university. She was a model student, always in touch, never one to just disappear. But she had. For 48 hours, there had been nothing. No calls, no texts, no social media posts. Her friends hadn't seen her since she left the library 2 nights before. The police were involved, but with thousands of students on campus, leads were thin. Her parents hired me, their voices trembling with the desperation that cuts right through you. The clock was ticking, and we were already 2/3 of the way through the most critical window. My first stop was Sarah's dorm room. It was neat, almost too neat, like she was expecting to be right back. Her laptop was open on her desk. That's where I started. In this line of work, the digital trail is often the only one you have. I began sifting through her emails, her search history, her social media messages. At first, it was all standard student stuff. Class notes, weekend plans, messages to her family. But then, I found something that made the hairs on my arms stand up. It was an email exchange with a company called Global Horizons Internships. They promised incredible opportunities. I'll expand paid summer internships in exotic locations, working for prestigious international NGOs. It sounded amazing. Almost too good to be true. And as we all know, when something sounds too good to be true, it almost always is. Sarah had been communicating with a recruiter named Alex. They had arranged to meet 2 nights ago, the same night she disappeared, to finalize her placement. The company's website was slick and professional, filled with smiling young people and glowing testimonials. But when I ran a deep background check, the facade crumbled. Global Horizons Internships didn't exist. The corporate registration numbers were fake. The addresses were all P.O. boxers. The testimonials were stocked photos with fabricated names. This wasn't an internship program. It was a sophisticated trap, designed to lure in smart, hopeful students like Sarah. My heart sank. This wasn't a case of a student running off for a weekend. This was something far more sinister. The 72-hour mark was approaching fast, and I knew that if this was a human trafficking operation, they'd be moving her soon, possibly out of the country. Every second I wasted was a second they were using to take her further away. I had to find Alex. I cross-referenced the email address with campus security databases and public records. Nothing. The name was likely an alias. I went back to Sarah's digital life, this time looking for any link, any breadcrumb that could lead me to this meeting spot. I found it in a deleted calendar entry that I managed to recover. The location was an off-campus coffee shop, the Daily Grind, and the time was 8 p.m., the night she vanished. It was a long shot, but it was all I had. I rushed to the coffee shop and spoke with the staff. A young barista remembered Sarah. She said Sarah had been sitting with a man, well-dressed, charismatic, probably in his late 30s. The barista thought they were having a job interview, but she noticed something odd. The man was incredibly charming, yet his eyes were cold, and she remembered seeing them leave, not in separate directions, but together, getting into a black sedan with tinted windows. She even remembered part of the license plate because a car like that was unusual in a college town. That was the break I needed. With a partial plate, I could use my contacts to run a search for all matching vehicles registered in the state. The list was long, but I could narrow it down by make and model. As the results came in, one entry stood out. A black sedan registered to a shell corporation with a known history of fronting for criminal enterprises. The address on file wasn't a P.O. box this time. It was a physical location. A secluded warehouse in the industrial district, about 30 miles from campus. We were now at the 70-hour mark. Time was almost up. I immediately relayed all my findings to my police contacts. This was beyond a simple pie job now. This required a tactical response. Within the hour, a SWAT team was mobilized and en route to the warehouse. I went with them, My stomach in knots. The entire drive. I could only think of Sarah and what she must be going through. Was she okay? Were we too late? The raid was fast and professional. The team breached the warehouse doors with explosive force. Inside, it was exactly what we feared. It was a holding facility. They found Sarah, along with 2 other young women, all terrified but physically unharmed. They were being held in a locked room, waiting for forged travel documents. We had gotten there just in time. They were scheduled to be moved out of the country that very night. Alex and several of his associates were apprehended on site. Seeing Sarah walk out of that warehouse, wrapped in a blanket and reunited with her tearful parents, was a feeling I'll never forget. It's the reason I do this job. It's the moment that makes all the stress, the long hours, and the darkness worthwhile. We beat the clock. The 72-hour rule held true. This case is a stark reminder of how predators operate in our modern world. They use the promise of a bright future to lure in the hopeful and the ambitious. They hide behind slick websites and professional personas. It's so important to be vigilant, to question offers that seem too good to be true, and to always trust your gut instinct. Always check. Talk to your friends, your family, your school counselors before meeting anyone from an online source. Thank you for letting me share this story with you. These are the realities we face. But it's by sharing this knowledge that we can help protect one another. If you found this story insightful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more real-life case files. Stay safe, stay aware, and look out for each other.